Okay, let's go ahead and talk about the Nord Stream pipeline. We brought you all the news that Nord Stream in Russia had decided to turn the pipeline back on after shutting down for 11 days. This is a high-stakes game because Germany gets the vast majority of its natural gas supply, which is predominant use for consumer power, from Russia. However, some news actually just broke that, let's put this up there on the screen. Russia, while it has gone ahead and restarted the Nord Stream pipeline, they have cut an additional 20% of the gas supply to Germany. This brings the total to nearly 80% cut to the German consumer since the beginning of the invasion of Ukraine, which, I don't think it takes a genius to figure out that an 80% drop in the supply of natural gas when the vast majority of your gas is coming from a country is a huge problem, both from an energy perspective, but also for natural gas markets in general. And it is leading to all sorts of insanity in Germany. We've talked about they're already in phase 2 of their energy cut plan. Phase 3 requires actual blackouts. It's already destroying the German economy. German manufacturing and the trade deficit has gone reverse for the first time since the 1990s. And it's an outright political and economic catastrophe for them. If they're beginning to slide, we're seeing problems with the Eurozone, given that German banks Germany is the most powerful actor within the Euro system. This has all kinds of spillover effects. On the natural gas markets, it also is having a major impact. Let's put this up there on the screen from the Financial Times, which is that traders are expecting European gas prices to remain elevated for years to come.
Wow.
And again, why does this matter? One of the benefits of natural gas and LNG was that it was cheap, and its cheap ability to supply power and influence manufacturing in Germany, not just Germany, Pakistan, Thailand, many other Asian countries across the globe were having access to this cheaper power, which also, I believe its carbon emissions are something like 50% or whatever of coal-fired plants. So it was better for the climate and it was cheaper. Well, the increase in the price and given the ability and the conscious decision to cut ourselves off from Russian gas has now made it so that the West is going to be paying sky-high natural gas prices. This also impacts us here at home because some 40-something% of power, Krystal, in 2021 came from natural gas. And natural gas is a globally traded commodity. We ship out huge portions of our natural gas to the global market. And then you put everything on top. The EU decided today, this morning, this news just broke, has agreed to a sweeping curb on natural gas usage. So the EU has come together and said that they are going to cut natural gas consumption between now and spring by a total of 15%. This is being billed to the global community as we're standing up to Russia. But if you care about carbon emissions, this is a disaster.
Yeah.
Because at the very same time that they are curbing 15% of natural gas, guess what? The Germans are going to continue to decommission nuclear power plants, which leaves you one option: coal. So they are going to be burning coal out the wazoo, and they don't even have enough coal in order to do so. So they're inducing an energy crisis on their own shores, increasing their carbon emissions, and frankly, they're making the entire world less safe as a result of all of this, all in order to, quote, own Putin and reduce his ability to screw with them. But the truth is, 15% is still not going to cut it.
Yeah.
If Putin wants to cut them off, they're still screwed, even if they try and reduce their natural gas consumption.
And that's exactly what he's doing, is he's toying with them.
Yeah.
He wants,
Why wouldn't you? Yeah.
The Russians are saying, like, oh, this is just about a turbine,
Right.
and we need
They know
hard, and we need,
Yeah.
So they want the Europeans, and the Germans in particular, to know that they have their own weapons at their disposal, that they can make their people suffer. And there was a quote in the article, actually, that we cited yesterday, where one analyst was saying, this is exactly what Putin wants to achieve, that when we make the next decision about arms deliveries to Ukraine, that somewhere in the back of our heads, and this is a German analyst, there is this thought, well, what is this going to do to our gas deliveries? Now, personally, I don't think it's wrong for people to have that thought.
Right.
To understand, because it's not like the policy that we have pursued has worked in terms of, hurting Putin's root, bleeding the war machine. That was the whole idea. This concept that we could achieve, or that the Ukrainians, backed by our military, military might, would be able to achieve total victory. that does not seem anywhere close to able to happen. So I don't think it's wrong for German citizens or other European citizens to weigh the costs and the benefits of the approach, especially when the approach has been so ineffective thus far.
Oh, absolutely. And this is going to be, like I said, it's not going to solve the problem. You know, reducing gas consumption by 15%, 100% means tons of more coal and carbon being emitted into the atmosphere as long as they decide not to pursue nuclear. But also 15% is just still not going to do anything. It's the fact is 40% of all EU gas, not just Germany, EU gas comes from Russia. So fine, you can cut 15%. That still leaves nearly a third of your grid vulnerable to what the Russians want to do. No country on earth can survive a 1/3 cut in their grid power. It's just not possible, especially with the lack of nuclear capacity. And what are we all learning here in real time? It takes 10 years to build this shit.
Yeah.
From LNG terminals, a nuclear power plant, coal, all of it. It takes decades for investment, shipping things across the globe. They're extraordinarily vulnerable. The Russians will still be able to influence their economies and wage economic warfare if they want. And the price of all of this is going to have long-time ramifications. You know, oil, of course, we all feel that at the pump, but you absorb increases in natural gas for your heating bills and others. And the thing that really worries me is in this article, they also talk about, from the traders' perspective, that the inventories are supposed to be very high right now because they stock up in the summer while winter is going to come to deal with volatility. Nobody knows how the hell weather is going to be. I mean, right now there's like a crazy heat wave in Europe that doesn't at all rule out a crazy cold spell that also would happen.
Yeah.
And if that happens, you know, increase in extreme weather events, which we're beginning to see more of also within Europe, that's going to be a real test of their ability to heat their homes. And it's not a joke, because if you have rolling blackouts in the middle of winter, old people die. People literally freeze to death. It happens every year, not just from homeless people, but literally anytime there's blackouts, you know, hospital grids, all that other stuff. So it's a real problem. The energy blackmail remains. Carbon-wise, it's a real problem. And I just think it really highlights the real just hypocrisy and lack of foresight to our overall strategy towards Russia. All of it is signaling. They're like, we're cutting off the gas, but not enough to actually do anything. They're still paying them hundreds of billions of euros, and the leverage remains there if they want it.
Cable news is ripping us apart, dividing the country, making it impossible to function as a society, and making it impossible to know just what is true and what is false. But the good news is they are failing and they know it.
That is why we're building something new, a new mainstream, a healthier one, something more trustworthy, something that we are going to need in one of the most pivotal times in American history. We are building up here for the midterms, for the upcoming presidential election, but we need your help. So if you can help us out by becoming a premium member today at breakingpoints.com, we're trying to change America for the better and the entire world.
So what are you waiting for, guys? Go to breakingpoints.com and sign up and help us build a new mainstream.